Going. So you can see my screen okay? You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Great. Okay. Well, welcome to our third module, which is goal setting. And goals are what take us forward in life and in our business, right? They are the oxygen, so to speak, to our dreams. So I'm real excited that we are going to go through goal setting. But my friends, you are now becoming opportunity makers, and with conversational selling skills, you have the power to grow your business even more. So let's work together to take the next step, and let's start achieving our dreams. But it all starts with setting goals. It's important that you realize the significance and then apply this knowledge in your business, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so here is our agenda, starting with your dream. And then the first step in achieving your dream is setting SMART goals. Then we're going to talk about our measures, which is our key metrics, and then what to think about, and then defining strategies. So this topic is not only important but relevant to our group. So how do you think you and your teams will benefit from goal setting? Any thoughts?
It's nice to know where you've come from and where you're going.
Perfect. Love that. Yeah, it's like a roadmap, right? Anybody else?
If you don't have any goals that are set ahead of you, then you're going to stay exactly where you are. You
Uh-huh.
always have something you're running for.
Correct. Good point. And for those of you that have attended RepFest, maybe your goals have changed. It's okay to change your goals along the way. Life happens, or you change your mind about something, so that's good. But, those of you that attended RepFest, and for the rest of you, you're going to be learning about the incentives if you haven't already heard. I'll be sharing those this week. I'm going to get some information out to you guys and then follow up with a phone call. But, especially, let's say you're planning to achieve the new incentives. Maybe you're now planning to drive like a boss in that awesome Mini Cooper, or cruise like a boss to Bermuda in the spring. So, maybe those goals, you didn't even think about those before RepFest, and now that RepFest is over and those incentives are out there, maybe your goals have changed. But we need to start thinking about that in order to achieve it. So tonight we're going to talk about that. All right, I love this. So members of the Harvard 1979 MBA program were asked if they had written down a clear set of goals. Only 3% had. 10 years later, the 3% that had written goals were earning on average 10 times more than the other 97% of the class combined. So why do you think this happened? I mean, why do you think that 3% earned more than the other 97%?
You have something to focus on, it makes it easier to achieve.
Exactly. I mean, they had set their plans in motion. They knew what they wanted to achieve, and they put their strategies together on how were they going to get, 10 years later, where did they see themselves? So, that was, their long-term goals. They set all their little short-term goals along the way in order to achieve that long-term goal. But I think this little study proves that it's important. It's really important that we start with a dream and then work towards that. Okay, so it's important to dream big, and Avon has helped many great people achieve big dreams. The one for me that comes to mind right now is the story that we heard at RepFest, and even those of you that did not attend RepFest probably know who Pam Heller is, or if you've heard of Pam Heller and her daughter Jessica Stover. But any of you that attended RepFest, do you want to share anything? I mean, that's the one that comes to my mind like immediately, and I guess it's because we heard it in just the last couple days. But do any of you want to share Pam's story? I mean, are y'all familiar with it? I know that she shared a little bit on stage, she and Jessica. If not, I will. All right. So I'm not going to go into all the details because if you know Pam, you might know that she joined Avon several times. But the last time she was serious because she really did not like her job. I mean, she wanted to work Avon full time and earn enough money. She needed a specific amount of money to make up and to replace her job earnings. And she knew that if she also wanted to get to that point, that she needed to not only sell product, but she needed to also be a leader. Lisa Wilbur mentored her along the way, even though she's not in Lisa's downline. She called Avon and said, I need to talk to somebody that's doing it and making money. And they got permission from Lisa to share Lisa's phone number with Pam, and Lisa mentored her. But she had a specific dollar amount that was required, and she knew what title she needed to achieve in order to make the money to replace her job money. And she knew that she wanted to do it by the end of the year, so that starting in the next year, she didn't have to go back and punch time clock. And then her story evolved even more, and with her daughter Jessica, and so her dreams and goals changed. But her very first big dream and goal was that she needed something to replace her other money. So it was measurable, it was specific. She had all those SMART goals. But dreams might take years to achieve. In Pam's case, she did it within a year. But go back to the A in our SMART, which is attainable, and you'll need to set attainable goals along the way. But that's just one example. There are so many stories, and you guys have your own stories as well. So, but your dream that you want this, buy this, it's just a really great goal. Okay, so the definition of setting goals is establishing a measurable set of targets that will enable you to reach your overall dream. Goals are not discrete activities, single actions, or high-level concepts. And the SMART framework is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So just like Pam's story, it was all of that. It was specific, what she wanted. It was measurable. It was attainable for her. She set small goals to get to, small short-term goals to get to her long-term goals. It was relevant and it was time-bound. She wanted to do it by the end of the year. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of goals. So tell me if what I share with you is SMART or not SMART. All right, so here's an example. I want to recruit more. Is that SMART or not SMART?
Smart.
Okay, so that is not SMART, and because it's just a statement. I want to recruit more. So what it should be is I want to recruit one person each month through the end of this year. So that is right. I mean, it's specific. I want to recruit one person, right, each month. So measurable through the end of this year. So it's time bound. That's a SMART goal. All right, how about this? I want to increase my personal sales.
Not SMART.
Not SMART, correct. So a SMART goal would be, I want to increase each of my personal orders for campaigns 20 and 21 by $100, right? So that's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and it's time bound. The time bound is specific campaigns, right? Campaigns 20 and 21. So I want to increase each of my personal orders for campaigns 20 and 21 by $100. So it checks all those off, the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So you guys have any other things you can think of that might be SMART goals? Anything specific that maybe you're working on now?
Oh, my SMART goals?
Yep.
To recruit 24 people to get on this cruise.
And so the time frame is, what is it, campaigns 20 through campaign 6 or something like that? Yeah.
So it's a minimum of 2 people per campaign,
Mhm.
starting in campaign 20.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So keep that in mind because we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we'll talk about that. Yay! That is a smart goal. That's an awesome goal. Okay, so we'll use these key measurements for our goals. This is going to ensure that our goals are specific, measurable, and relevant. 3 of the 5 letters in SMART. We begin with our personal goals because they are most directly tied to our dream. Our personal goals include our earnings title, our first generation appointments, and our personal sales dollars. Because our team helps us achieve our earnings and title goals, our next step is to set team goals. So personal goals again on the left, on the right team goals. So team goals would be your G1 through G3 sales leaders, the number of G1 through 3, the number of your team new appointments, the number of your team registered recruits, the percentage of your team order activity, the number of team orders that you have, your average order size, and your total team sales. So those are your team goals. Do y'all have any questions? And if you're unclear about the definitions of these measures, I sent you a glossary. So make sure you look at that if you need to reference that in the future. But we know that these are the right measures to track for your team success. There's additional measures you might look at, but we believe that these are the highest level measures that drive leader success. So this is why we're going to establish our team goals using these measures. And we'll have the opportunity to set goals as part of the application guide in this module. So certainly this is going to be a bit of a challenge filling out your application guide, and today I also sent you a little slideshow that will show you where, and most of you probably know where to find it, but just in case it gets confusing, there's step by step on where to find all the numbers in order to fill out that application guide. So just to save you some time, I wasn't going to send it to you. I was thinking, I know they probably should try to just find this on their own, but I didn't want you to get frustrated with all of that. I wanted to give you just a little bit of help on where to find all of that on Vibe. Okay, so let's talk about the things you should consider when setting your long-term personal goals. And when we say long-term, we're talking about the next 26 campaigns or, the upcoming year. But the first thing that you need to consider is your dream. Do you want to achieve your dream in the next year, or how close do you want to get to achieving your dream? It is important to align your goals with your dream, of course. Another important consideration is your time. How much time do you plan to commit to your Avon business? If your goals are aggressive but you don't have time to dedicate to them, you can't be successful. So think about that, because when you're successful, you're not going to give up. You're not going to throw in the towel. So, make sure that you have the time to dedicate in order to achieve. And it's important to be realistic so that your goals are attainable, right? So that A in SMART. An important step in setting your goals is reflecting on past performance. And I know that somebody just said that. You need to understand your past in order to plan for your future. So why is that important to reflect on your past performance? What can it tell you? The long, uncomfortable pause. Okay, go ahead.
Don't keep making the same mistakes over and over.
Bingo. It's going to help you understand the impact of your activities and your time commitment. It's going to show you where you've been successful and where you might need to change your approach if you want different results. So it's important to consider, it's important to consider this. You don't want to keep doing things that aren't beneficial. So stop doing those things that aren't growing your business, things that aren't value added. So that's good. So it's also important to consider the impact of your first generation appointments. And the knowledge on how that impacts your business is going to help you determine how many you want to add this coming year. So if you want to earn the cruise to Bermuda, you need to know how many appointments are going to take you there, how many successful qualified new recruits is it going to take to earn that goal. But, you know, you need to ask yourself, you know, how much is a G1 appointment? How much is that going to impact my business? You know, how is that going to grow my sales and my team? What else can you consider when setting your long-term personal goals? What else can you consider?
I think we have to consider how much time we're willing to put into it.
Exactly. So time is a biggie. I mean, and it's on the side, you know, how much time can you commit to your Avon business? And again, what are your past results? What do you need to achieve in order to make progress towards your dream? But I think time for all of you is a biggie, right? I think that most of you are working this almost full time. But, you know, maybe we need to analyze, you know, how we're spending our time. But then I think also we get caught up in things. We think that we're spending X number of hours, and then when you analyze what you've actually done, you might realize, oh, I got caught up just looking at reports, and I was looking at, you know, birthdays and anniversaries when I should have been looking at average order and order activity, you know. So it's just analyzing your time as well. So thank you. That was
Right.
that was very smart.
I think sometimes we look at the comfortable things in our time,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't want to look at the uncomfortable things to see what we're not doing.
I think you're right. I mean, that is, yeah.
I know that's me, so, and
Well,
I'm just being open.
And I think we all do that. I think that we get busy on the computer, and before you know it, hours have passed, and you probably should have been doing something else, you know, reaching out, making phone calls and text messaging and communicating with your team instead of just trying to, I mean, you have to analyze your business. You have to do it, right? You have to analyze your business, but sometimes we just get lost in a lot of junk, and it's a good point.
Right.
All right, so once your personal goals are established, you can focus on your team goals for the upcoming year. So remember, your downline results significantly impact your personal results. So if your team's doing well, you're going to do well. So can someone give me an example of how your downline results impacted your personal success, either in a hugely positive way or negative way? Any examples?
I had a lot of people, this is Heidi.
Hey,
I had
Heidi.
a lot of people sign up, and it felt like, okay, great, my team is growing, but then once they sign up, they fizzle out. And I would keep babysitting them and going back and trying to help them and even giving them my books and just walking them through. And, you know, I spent so much time babysitting that I was going to throw in the towel after a while. And I realized, you know, I need to let them go. If they're not going to try, then go on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because I spent a lot of time babysitting, and they just fizzled out. They never did anything with the business.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, that probably impacted your business because here you're all excited. You have all these new people. You think you're going to advance in title, and then
It happened to me twice. I advanced in title, and I couldn't even keep it up, and then it was so discouraging because I made it to gold, and then I went back to silver, and then I went back down to bronze, and now I'm at silver again. But, you know, I've already been there, so even if I reach it again, I won't get any reward from it because I've already been there.
Right.
So it impacted my business negatively in a big way.
That's a good example. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
I've had the same thing. 3 times I made it to where I'm at now, and I faltered. This time I've kind of done it different because instead of just focusing on everybody in the whole, I'm focusing on the one who's succeeding. And by prioritizing them, it has really helped me as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, how about in a positive way? Has anybody, oops.
Oh, yeah, I can do positive. This is Donna.
Hey, Donna.
R. I am standing at baggage claim, so excuse the noise. Just coming home. But positive, so I have Barbara Jones on my team, and we were both working really hard toward the nesting. Unfortunately, my personal recruit decided she didn't want to give up her disability check, so she wasn't going to do anything. However, Barbara's came through, and we now have 10 nested on our team. So that's a positive when somebody on your team does something positive. So that'll help us a lot.
Perfect.
And then we're having a team meeting, and we know at least one of those nested will be coming to our meeting on Monday night.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. And certainly, you know, I'm sure that Donna and Barbara work together and set, you know, some goals in order to achieve the nesting. So, you know, that's a great example of goal setting. And I know, Elaine, I'm sorry I wasn't ignoring you. I saw that your hand was up. Do you have something you'd like to share?
I just was going to say I have one girl on my team that was a promoter, and she heard about the nesting incentive and worked really hard to promote to bronze, and she did.
Awesome.
So she got a nesting incentive for 5 people and ended up with 32 people added to her team.
What? Oh
Wow.
my gosh. That is definitely a success story.
Yeah, it helped boost me to a bronze leader.
Oh
so
my
I
gosh.
really
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was excited.
Yay! That is great news.
I heard Heidi's story, and then I'm like, okay, so don't be too excited. Just keep working hard.
Right. So now it's now you need to just set some short-term goals for that entire group. You know, help your team member mentor those new people, and you know, just
I just went and met with her today. So.
Oh my gosh, good for you.
So,
and I have heard similar stories, and not just on the recent nesting, but I'm thinking back like on the Vacation Like a Boss. And I know of several representatives, so one in particular, though, that I thought the story was just so fantastic, is that her 5 people on her team, plus herself, so 6 total, they worked together, they met, and they set a plan for all of them to achieve the trip. And every one of them achieved the trip. 3 of the 6 actually earned for a guest as well. So,
wow.
you know, that I love hearing those stories, and that kind of incentive, just like the ones that are coming up, like the Cruise Like a Boss. You know, not only is it fun to work with your team and get them excited about an incentive, what it does long term for the health of your business, bringing on all those new people in the right way. You know, I'm not talking about just signing up your best customer and letting her place an order so that you get the points. You want to add people the right way so that you have a long, sustainable, healthy business. So hopefully all of you will have plans to do that. So Donna must share again. I can hear her in the background. Donna?
Oh, I'm sorry. I unmuted it by mistake. Sorry, but I got my login.
Yay! I'm glad to hear that. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Okay, so once your team goals are set and you considered all of these things, you want to ask yourself, are your goals attainable? Can you stretch it even further? And again, don't forget the Cruise Like a Boss coming up, all these fun incentives. So whether you're working on it for just yourself or you want to get your team involved, you want to consider what do you need to achieve in order to make progress towards your dream, how much time can you commit to your Avon business, what are your past results, and how much will that first generation appointment impact your business. All right, let me see if I can get this slide to change. Here we go. Once you set your personal and team long-term goals for the next 26 campaigns, it's important to set goals for the shorter term. We're going to ask you to set goals for your next 6 campaigns, which is the next 3 months or the quarter. So in the application guide, just remember that we're looking at the next 6 campaigns. But why is it important to set shorter term goals after you establish your goals for the upcoming year?
They're more attainable and they're more makes you feel better about yourself that you can continue to do more.
Perfect. Yeah. So you need to ensure that you're making that incremental progress so that you'll ultimately achieve the long-term goal and ultimately your dream. So certainly the short-term goals will just click away, to get you to that final destination. So very, very good. Thank you. Let's talk about, what do we need to consider when setting these shorter-term goals? And let's just look inside. What does your team need to achieve in order for you to reach your personal goals? What are your team's past results? What are your team's best opportunities for growth? And where do you want to focus your efforts with your team this year? In the box on the right, team goals, again, would be your number of sales leaders, your new appointments, your registered recruits, your order activity, team orders, average order size, team sales. What else should you consider when setting your long-term team goals? Can you think of anything? I think we probably covered everything in our discussions. All right, we'll move on. My brain's like mud right now, so like nothing's coming, nothing's sticking. Like it's coming across and then just leaving. All right. Oops. Come on. Here we go. All right. So reflecting to ensure success. Once your goals, once you set your goals, it's important to reflect on them and ask yourself these questions. Are your goals attainable? Can you stretch your goals even further? Do your short-term goals align with your long-term goals? Will you make enough incremental progress in the next 6 campaigns to achieve your goals by the end of the next 26 campaigns? So I would love, I'm going to pause for just a second. I think that you should take a screenshot of this or take a picture with your phone. I mean, I love this slide. I think it's something that you should keep on your desktop. Just keep it in front of you, just to reflecting to ensure your success, to be asking these key questions and adjusting them if you have to. But again, are your goals attainable? Can you stretch your goals even further? Do your short-term goals align with your long-term goals? But go ahead and, think about that. And if you find that your goals are not quite right, just adjust them. It's okay. Ask yourself some questions. Are you working with the right person? Are you spending your time with value-added activities? If you went to RepFest, go through your RepFest notes. There was so much great sharing concerning goal setting. But what other questions might you ask yourself? I mean, what are the things that you might ask yourself? I know we talked about time. Are you spending your time with value-added activities? Are you spending too much time on certain activities, not enough time on another? I mean, I think time is just a big factor in all of this goal planning. But is there anything else, any other questions that you think you might ask yourself? Nothing? Okay.
I think sometimes with me, I have to ask myself, am I willing to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something that I'm not willing to do?
Right.
And you would hope that, yes, you are willing, but sometimes it's, and it depends on the week.
Mm-hmm.
You're having a bad week, you're having a bad month,
Mm-hmm.
And there's been times when I wasn't willing to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
To be honest with myself.
Right. Perfect. You have to be honest with yourself. Are you willing to do a certain activity? And if not, again, make adjustments. Do something else until you go back to that later. Maybe you're having a bad hair day. You don't want to go out of the house. I'm not willing to go out and prospect today. I'm having a bad hair day. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that's a good point. Are you willing to, if you've put something out there, you've written it down on, a strategy or plan, if you're not willing to do it, just rework it. Figure out what it is that you are willing to do. But that's a really good point.
Right.
That's a really great point.
I
go
also
on.
think that,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
No,
I also think that sometimes we don't know exactly what needs to be done to get to the goals we want to go to. And that's why I think it's so important to get with the people that are above you that have succeeded already.
Mhm.
And they already know some of, what needs to be done. I mean, I'm struggling with what needs to be done and, how to push myself to do it.
No,
Mhm.
stop, Bella.
Well, okay.
Bella's not behaving.
Yeah, I know. Well, so that is a great transition into our next slide. It's defining our
And just to-
strategies, right? We have to define our strategies. We need to determine how you're going to achieve your goals.
Right.
So,
And
mhm.
just to say one other thing, like I said, I'm struggling. So I'm meeting with Belinda tomorrow.
Great.
And
Great.
just a small little prayer that should be able to kick me in the butt and get me moving.
Good.
Because I have 13 people nesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, congratulations.
So,
yeah, you guys have done a
yes,
great job with nesting. So now it's time just to get them moving. And look, you're going to have some duds. So I know that 13
I know.
sounds like a lot, but probably only half of them are going to turn out to be anything. But even if you can get 6 to do something, that's great. So congratulations.
Marie, I have a lady who is 799 campaigns.
Wow.
Yeah. I looked at that. I was like, oh, she'll be able to teach me some stuff.
So, at least you know that she is not going anywhere.
She's gonna stick around.
Yeah, she's here to stay. So that's
right.
awesome. And and just keep in mind with those people that have been with Avon for a while, and depending, you need to find out what their story is. So we're going to be a little off track right now. But with my daughter being in as a sales development coach, and one of the things that they're looking at with the longer term representatives is making sure that they have a legacy, that their business doesn't go away when they decide to retire. So whether it's a family member or a close customer or a friend, that they can get on their account as a co-applicant. So just double check on that with those kind of representatives. So,
I hadn't even thought of that, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, so they have an established business. It might be, they might be winding down, getting closer to retirement. So we just want to make sure that they can pass their business on to, a granddaughter or a family member, or their favorite customer. And it doesn't need to be a family member to add them on as a co-applicant. Anybody can be a co-applicant on an account. So just keep that in mind. Because a lot of you may have that same situation with the people that are nested with you now. So, all right. So once your goals are set, it's important to think about how you're going to achieve your goals. So what is a strategy? Do we know what a strategy is? I mean, personally, I think a strategy, it's not a detailed set of activities, right? That's not a strategy. A strategy is like a high-level set of activities. That's a strategy. But it's important to think about your strategies for achieving all of your goals. Think about what's worked in the past and what's not worked. We already talked about that. You don't want to be wasting your time on things that didn't work. And then think about your most challenging goals. What new strategies do you have to accomplish these? So think about your personal goals. How will you achieve your title goal? How will you increase your earnings? How will you increase your personal sales? How will you identify potential new customers? And then think about your team goals. How will you help your team increase total orders? How will you help your team increase their average order size? How will you help your team members place more orders? How will you help your team members to place orders? How will you increase total team sales? How will you help your team grow their teams? How will you help representatives become leaders? And how will you keep your team satisfied so they keep their Avon business? So possible strategies are continuing doing the things that are proven successful. So if you're doing something that you know works, keep doing that. That's a good strategy. And do more of your most productive activities. And just think about what you're doing that's producing results, and do more of that. Stop doing things that do not produce results, and try new activities that could drive results. Maybe it's For those of you that are technically challenged, maybe a new activity would be learning how to drive sales through Facebook, or how to do recognition on Facebook, or how to do Facebook parties. Try new activities that could drive results. Teach your downline to do the same thing. I mean, we want them to make money. We want them to make money by selling more to more new people, and we want them also to start teams. So start trying new activities that are going to drive those results. So what are some strategies you might plan for the upcoming year?
I spoke to the new people that I did talk to about putting together some meetings, maybe at one of the local restaurants, or, like a sales meeting, and just getting together to discuss what works for you and how that, could help us.
Great. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Anybody else?
I'm planning on doing Zoom meetings.
Yay!
Yeah, trying to take some of your material here and put on Zoom and see if we can't have an open discussion like you're doing, and just kind of make it go forward.
Right. Look, nowadays, and especially as you're bringing younger women into the business, doing virtual kind of meetings is just a given.
Yep.
And of course, it's always good. I mean, we want to meet them face to face. You have to build a relationship outside of virtual meetings. So doing face-to-face meetings is really important, getting to know them. But I love that strategy. Good. Okay. You guys are rock stars. Such good sharing. All right, so here is the dreaded application guide, and I'm going to go ahead and close this down. Let me bring this up. All right, so this application guide happens to be 4 pages front and back, or I don't know if it came to you. It may have come just in 4 separate pages. And remember, you need the Adobe Acrobat Reader. So if you don't have that, you can go to adobe.com, www.adobe.com, and download the file. It's free, but if you don't have the Acrobat Reader, you're not going to be able to edit this. So I think everybody's good, except for Belinda. I'm going to be working with her tomorrow in order to help her with this. But go through this. What I recommend first is that you print it. If you have a printer, I would print this and handwrite it out first, and then go back in and then type it in the one that you send me. Or if you want to scan it after you've written it out and send it back to me, then that's fine. But I think it's easier to have it in front of you as you're on Vibe, right, instead of going back and forth and back and forth. So bring up Vibe, go through all of this. So it just starts with your goals and strategies, defining your dream and your why, what you want, the date that you want it. So let's say, for example, you're talking about cruise like a boss. So you want to earn the incentive cruise like a boss, and by the date. So look at the calendar, see when campaign 6 finishes for you, and put that date on there. How much money you need to make, because it's sales are involved in that for your points, and with title of, so we know if you advance your title, that gives you even more points. So in order to achieve your dream, you need to make X number of dollars with a title of whatever. And then set your personal goals for the upcoming year. What did you earn in the last year? What is your current leader title? And all of this is on Vibe, and the information I sent you earlier today, the PowerPoint will show you how to get to some of this. What are your personal goals for the upcoming year? So 26 campaigns from now, where do you see yourself? What title do you see yourself? And for those of you that have nesting, that's really going to help you plan even bigger. Your total earnings for the next 12 months. Where do you see yourself? So total earnings is both from sales and from your leadership. And then reflect on your past results before you set your goals. Follow the directions provided by me to pull your numbers, so you've got that. Transfer your results for the last 26 campaigns and the last 6 campaigns quarter to the chart on the next page. And remember, I sent you the glossary to help you with those key measurements. And then it tells you what to think about, what drove your results, how much time did you dedicate, where do you need to focus, what can you do better, how are your results trending. So you can make notes there. And just remember, if I can review the application guide before our coaching call, I can be more helpful as your coach. All right, so here is where you're going to put all your personal measures. And again, just look at that PowerPoint that I sent you in order to help you get this information. And if you struggle with it, just let me know. We'll do a Zoom and bring up your Vibe, and we'll go through it, and I'll help you fill this out. And there's your team measures. So same thing, you get all of this from Vibe. This is going to be a really good Vibe training for those of you that have not been using it much. I think that once you're done with this module, you're going to say, oh my goodness, I didn't know everything. All this was on Vibe. I can't believe that I didn't know all this was here. And then your goals and strategies, set your goals, next 26 campaigns, and then the next quarter, same thing with your team. And then questions to ask yourself. Are these goals attainable? How aggressive? If you achieve your goals the next 26 campaigns, how much closer will you be achieving your dream? Do your goals for the next 6 campaigns put you on track to achieve your goal? So again, you know, they're looking at your short-term goal, the next 6 campaigns, and then your long-term goal, 26 campaigns. And of course, maybe your goal is to have enough money for a down payment on a home. Maybe you're looking at having to put aside like $30,000. Well, the next 26 campaigns might not get you there, but it could get you a lot closer. So, you know, this will help you put notes in order to write it down, you know, be specific. Define your strategies. How will you achieve your goals? So it gives you the opportunity to define your strategies. You know, what are they? Are they going to be making 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week? So it's giving you some ideas there. Think about your personal goals. Think about your team goals. Notes for you to put there. And then your call to action. Do 2 things in the next 2 weeks to make progress towards your goals. Make them specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. All right. So again, don't forget, I do need your application guides back. If you could, like the night before our one-on-one call. So giving you some time, and I know those of you that just got back from RevFest are recovering like me, and it's hard to even think about this, but you'll have through the end of the weekend. All right, let's wrap it up, ladies. All right, so our hot topic question, and this is going to be for our group collaboration call next week, which is a week from tomorrow, next Thursday. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? Now, and I'm going to remind you this before next Thursday, if you have any pictures, if you're like me, I have like a little dream board, and I have pictures of like things that are on my bucket list. So if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? Just go ahead and send me a picture of that, and I'll be able to include that in our little PowerPoint that I'll do for our collaboration. So that is going to be our hot topic. I sort of love that. That's going to be fun to talk about. All right. So your dream, your goals, so as you work through your application guide, set your goals high enough to inspire you, and of course make them attainable enough to encourage you. So we don't want you to be discouraged, so inspiring and attainable enough to encourage you. Believe in yourself and what you're capable of. You are such a super great group of women. I can't even be more proud of you all. But we will get more tactical with planning how you're going to achieve your goals with our next module, so which is called planning. But remember, just you know, set them high enough, set your goals high enough to inspire you, make them attainable enough to encourage you. If you need my help with your application guide, just let me know, and certainly we'll just get together on a Zoom meeting. I have some catch-up work. Elaine and Valerie, get with both of you tomorrow. We'll set up something. We may just do these 2 modules together. So we'll figure that out. All right, does anybody have any questions? Anything that you need to know? Anything that you need to ask? Anything you want to share?
I'm good.
Awesome. Okay, and tonight, in fact, I'm going to take my Rest Well pill right now, and hopefully in an hour I'm going to be in the bed, but between now and then, I'm going to start on a little newsletter that I want to get out, and just for your information, I'm going to, feel free to share it with everybody. I'm going to cover Drive Like a Boss. I'm going to talk about Drive Like a Boss workshops that are coming up. And we're going to have one in nearby, Central Florida somewhere. I will put some information in there on Cruise Like a Boss. Project Runway is going to be airing next Thursday night. I'll give you information on that. Rep Fest at the Movies is going to be in our area. So I'll just put a snippet in there about that because I don't have all the details. I'll send the details out as soon as I have it, but I already know the date. It's going to be August 19th. We need to have that theater full of people. I'll talk a little bit about Aspira by Avon, which is our new health and wellness. So what a great bundle we got at RepFest, and we're going to continue getting those in the next 2 months to replenish our supply, and then we'll kick it off in January for everybody. I'll talk to you about the enhancements to our Kickstart program, and then the new Avon University that's coming soon. So I'll just put a little bit about that I've been able, I'm just like going through my notes that I took at my meeting yesterday. So I'll just put little, it's not going to be a lot. I'll put little links to the flyers for the incentives so you can share those. But after you get that, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know what those are. But please get it out to everybody, especially everybody in our territory, but you can send it to anybody on your team, post it on Facebook. We just need to get the word out and get a lot of excitement going on everything that's starting. And it's starting like right now, like Campaign 20 is kicking off the incentives for both the cruise and for the car. So certainly we have no time to waste. We've got to get the information out there. All right. Anything before we close?
Marie,
Sure.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
For people who didn't go to RepFest, is there a way to get those supplements?
No, there's not. Well, let me take that back. There might be something at the RepFest at the Movies, because anybody that attends that is getting a mini swag bag. There's going to be some kind of charge to go to that, but everybody will be leaving with a value bag of probably 3-4 times of whatever the admission is for that. So I don't know what they're putting in the swag bag. It could be that they might include some supplements, but yeah, only those that went to RepFest are getting the full size boxes of those supplements. And FYI, those of you that did get those, the packaging is not the actual packaging. The packaging that those are coming in are going to be much, much better. I don't know if you saw the banners with all the bright colors, the orange and the greens. These boxes, this is just the pre-marketing boxes, so that this is not what those packaging, what the packaging is going to look like. So, because this packaging is a little boring, so the packaging for the Aspira is going to be so much better than what we got. But it's really cool. So there's a restore, a boost, and glow. The 3 pillars of wellness. It's just amazing. I'm so excited. And the audience at RepFest went crazy at this presentation. Crazy. Jumping up and down and screaming. It was amazing. So it's going to be really, really cool. All right. That was a good question. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, guys. We'll be talking to you soon. Let me know if I can help you in any way. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.